Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina. And today, I don't think I ever made a follow-up video to this BlueHawk 17 cubic foot steel cart. This thing, the initial review I did on it was very poor, and rightfully so. I found it to be overpriced for what it was and very flimsily built. And I kind of still feel that way, to be honest with you. I have made a lot of modifications over the last 3 years that I've owned it, and I'll show you those as we go through here. But yeah, my opinion is still not great. Obviously, with a lot of ingenuity, I've been able to get this thing to a usable state, but in doing so, I made it less functional than it once was. First thing I do want to point out, those are not the original rims or wheels. Those actually came off the front of a riding mower that went to the trash, and what I did was reamed out the bearing size hole so that would fit this axle. The original wheels and rims, I replaced the inner tubes on those twice over the last 3 years, and the tires themselves were just trash. The rims are of a very thin steel, so they're garbage. They're gone. So I was lucky enough that I had a set of these. They're a little wider, they're a little shorter. I think the originals were 16s, these are 15s, but these are wider, and they certainly can handle the load capacity. So if anything, that was an improvement, and certainly it's a lot easier and less expensive to go ahead and get riding mower rims and tires and tubes than it is to get some off-size thing like this thing came with. So there we go. But let's go around to the back here. I want to show you one of the big issues that this unit had and the fix that I had to make on it, and that's right down here. So you would ride with any weight at all, and even though there's a pin there, these things would just flop out. They would fall out. It's such a poor design right there. And so what I had to do was get these L brackets, and you can see them. And even if you look carefully, even with the L bracket, it still wants to pull out there. It really needs a bracket that's like sits like this way, flat on there. But I just didn't have that. This is what I had available. So, you know, it works better than it did. It tend to stay somewhat more together, but it still was a terrible design. As you can see, the paint is not holding up as well. You can see there's some dents in this, but it's just starting to flake off, which I don't really care about that. That's not an issue. Same thing on this side with the tire. Had to replace that, and I did do the same thing with brackets up here in the front. You can see here, both sides have those L brackets here, so that helped. Actually, it helped a lot on the front, not so much on the back. But the front has these nice hooks here on both sides that hold it together. So by doing that, unfortunately, I lost the ability to drop the sides. You can't take the sides down and make this a flatbed now, which was one of the reasons that I got it. If I wanted to haul something that was way oversized but relatively light, the idea with owning this thing was drop the panels down, and you could do that. Now, if you take a look here along the side, by adding those riding mower tires, I've pretty much gotten rid of that possibility anyway, because they do stick out farther. They're a thicker tire. So it's kind of it is what it is moment. It's a loss. Now, the other thing I did, if you can see right here, there's a hole right there that I bolted. And I believe there's another one back here. It's just covered in dirt. So they're also, yeah, same thing. They're covered up. There's one there. So I did bolt this thing down. So what I did was take that whole set of features and get rid of it because they just didn't work that well. Now, what have I liked on this? This part's fairly stout. Like, I don't have any issues. That part still works beautifully and locks well, so I'm happy with the dump feature. I don't really use it all that much, but it's there when I do need it. And it does have a good amount of space, so it's nice for that. I also do like these, although my wife hates using the little high riser. First thing she always does is take those off whenever she's messing with this thing, but I like it because you can throw more stuff in there, especially if you're hauling like lumber, that kind of stuff, or logs. Like if I'm hauling firewood, you can stack a lot more firewood if you have that extra foot, or half a foot, I guess it is, that's there. So yeah, so 3 years, maybe even 4 years on. I can't remember when I bought this thing now, but it's been a long time since I made a video on this. 4 years on, I am still thinking that it's not really a very good value for the money, but it has held up. I mean, if you're handy and you're willing to realize that what you get out of the factory isn't exactly grand, it definitely has potential. There was a time when I thought about tearing the whole top of it off down to that flatbed and building a chicken tractor out of this thing, something I could haul around the property, but I decided against that. So we still use it. Most of the time, though, I'm using that poly cart I got from Brinley about a year and a half ago now. It's just a better trailer all around. But there are still times when I'm hauling stuff or when we're both working the farm at the same time. We need to have both these units in operation. And today you can see I had the mutt, which actually had an electrical issue, which is why it's up here right now. But had the mud out, and we were gathering firewood together. So that is it for today. I'm Eric, the owner of Farpoint Farms. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, perhaps you'll think about liking and subscribing, because I'll see you next time. Take care.
There's always something that needs a little fixing on Farpoint Farms. Freedom is mighty sweet.